Bolsa Chica. She is the program manager for FLOW, which stands for Follow and Learn About the Ocean and Wetlands. FLOW is the Amigos' citizen science program, developed in partnership with Bolsa Chica State Beach to provide hands-on learning about this vital ecosystem. Amber is a graduate of Cal State Long Beach with a degree in marine biology. We're so excited that she can be with us today to share her insights about how the oil spill has impacted wetlands and the need to protect them in the face of multiple threats, including climate change. Please join me in welcoming Amber Stoffel.
Go Beach! Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for making it out here this morning in this drizzle. I'm going to try and make it quick so we can bundle up. My name, as already introduced, is Amber Stoffel, and I'm the Education Program Manager for the Amigos de Bolsa Chica, a non-profit organization that has fought for the protection and restoration of the Bolsa Chica wetlands and the ecological reserve here in Huntington Beach for over 40 years. The Amigos were formed in 1976 by a group of Huntington Beach residents who were concerned about saving Bolsa Chica from development for human use. Since then, we've fought for the protection and restoration of this fragile and increasingly rare habitat. And if I had more time, I would regale you with the tales of our 40-year-long legal battle with the developer, our triumphs with designating the wetlands as an ecological reserve owned and operated by the public, our successful restoration project that reopened the wetlands back to the ocean for the first time in over 100 years, and much more. If you're interested or you want to help us with our fight, you can visit us at amigosdebolsachica.org. We're always looking for volunteers to help us out. But today I want to talk to you about our coastline and particularly about the unique habitats that are here and the challenges that face them. Coastal wetlands are saltwater marshes along the coast that provide many services both to animals and humans alike. They offer migrating and native birds a place to feed and raise their young, including several federally threatened and federally endangered species. The wetlands also absorb and store up carbon dioxide, which is important in the fight against climate change. They provide shelter for recovering species like the green sea turtle, and beyond being a sanctuary for wildlife, they also have positive impacts on our economy. It's all wet and covered in rain. Over 40% of our commercial fish, including sea bass and halibut, lay their eggs in coastal wetlands, meaning that by preserving these habitats, we are preserving the fish that feed us. Our wetlands also provide protection to the mainland against storm surges and against rising sea levels. They provide oxygen, and in fact, 50% of the air that we breathe, every other breath that you take, comes from the phytoplankton that lives in the ocean and wetlands. The base of the food chain that provides nutrients for vast and numerous ecosystems also provides every other breath that you take. It's the reason you can take a deep breath. Bolsa Chica, Brooker St. Talbert Marshes, and the Newport Back Bay. These ecosystems are vital for where we live, but they are under threat now more so than ever. As we all know, on October 2nd, the U.S. Coast Guard confirmed that there is a large oil spill off of our coast. An oil pipeline connected to the platform Ellie, owned and operated by Amplify Energy, was breached and leaked a minimum of 25,000 gallons of crude oil and a maximum of 144,000 gallons. And as estimated by the U.S. Coast Guard, among other groups. Over the past 3 weeks, oil and tar balls have washed up onshore at Bolsa Chica State Beach all the way down to San Diego. Bolsa Chica Ecological Reserve itself was mercifully spared because it was at the northernmost end of the spill. The other marshes, like the Talbert and Brooker's Marsh just south of here, were contaminated by crude oil long before the crews were able to deploy booms and sand berms in order to protect them. Tar balls have been washing up in Crystal Cove State Beach for weeks down in Laguna, contaminating the fragile tide pools and beaches down there. And as I'm sure many of you have seen, there are images and reports of oiled birds and sea life, dead fish and birds washing up on shore. The current total of megafauna casualties are as follows: 32 live birds rescued, 17 of which have been released, 77 dead birds, 1 live northern right whale dolphin rescued, 3 dead dolphins of various species, and 2 dead California sea lions. And our animals and beautiful natural resources resources aren't the only thing at risk. Fisheries, tourism, and recreation currently make up nearly 600,000 jobs across the state and funnel over $42 billion into our state economy. Oil spills and other disasters like this force our beaches and our businesses to close. These are people's livelihoods ruined within one day. This is our home, our coastline, our ocean, our backyard, damaged and polluted. So far, cleanup efforts are focused along the shoreline with groups collecting tar balls on Huntington State Beach, Crystal Cove, Swami Beach, Moonlight Beach, Solana, Blacks, Torrey Pines, Sequoia, Pacific, and Oceanside beaches. Along with federal, state, and county response teams working to clean up our beaches, an additional 561 volunteers from around Orange County were trained and issued on tar ball and debris cleanup. However, the impacts of the spill have far deeper effects that we cannot see from shore. Gray whales migrate through our waters, meaning that in the next several months, these animals will be swimming through and feeding in the thick of this disaster. The phytoplankton that gives us oxygen that lives in our waters will be impacted. Their composition's changed, and the very base of the food system ruined. And my program will be monitoring these phytoplankton over the next several years in order to document this change. They're all sticking together. Thank you. And unfortunately, this incident is just a signal, just a taste of what is to come. Climate change is no longer in the distant future. It's knocking on our doors and making itself at home. California and the American West are experiencing the worst drought in over a century. Although right now it might not feel like it. We are in a severe, severe drought. Our current state has 17 uncontained wildfires burning, and in the past year alone, we have dealt with 8,106 wildfires and have lost 2.5 million acres. Last year, ocean acidification, sea level rise, natural disasters, extreme heat, weather fluctuations. How much longer will we ignore the signs of this problem? No more! The longer our nation's leaders wait to act on climate change, the worse the disasters will become and the more expensive the recovery. Quality of life on Earth, not just for future generations, but for current generations. Quality of life on Earth must be protected. While multi-billion-dollar companies line their pockets, they grow more and more out of touch with the struggles that everyday our people are experiencing here on Earth. The companies and governing bodies who are telling us that we need to do our part to save the planet are actually the biggest contributors to climate change. It is time for them to do their part. Yes! Yes! So what does this mean and how can we make a change? Companies and governments will promote going green, reducing plastic use, recycling your soda cans, carpooling, or riding your bike. And yes, all of these things are indeed important, but they're not going to be what saves us. Instead, we, the American people, have the unique ability, the right, and the duty to require of our elected officials to act in our best interest as a nation and to not to the best interest of their wallets. We require of our elected officials and our policymakers to push for a carbon-neutral economy and a robust, clean energy industry to power America. This is for our health, for our economic benefit, for our enjoyment of the natural world around us, and for our future. The Amigos de Bolsa Chica urgently implore our elected leaders and all related stakeholders to ban offshore oil production and expedite processes that are needed to decommission all existing oil wells off the coast of California. Fossil fuel production and consumption are a direct threat to the wetlands, the ocean, and all human life on Earth. The land we call home, the ocean that feeds us, and the air that we breathe. Are these things not worth fighting for? Yes! Are these things not worth investing in or protecting? Yes! We can make a difference. Yes! The American people have done it countless times before, and I know we can do it again. Thank you.